Okay, pag-usapan po natin itong mga lumalabas po na additional evidence against the Vice President. Can you walk us through dito po sa mga panibagong quote-unquote dubious names na na-discover ng mga kongresista bilang nakatanggap daw po di umano ng bahagi ng confidential funds ng Vice President?
Alright, ang recent discovery ng prosecution panel with respect to the dubious names ng mga recipient ng OVP Confidential Fund yung tinatawag nating grocery gang, no? Why grocery? Kasi mukhang grocery yung pangalan. That includes Beverly Pampano, Miko Harina, Sala Kasim, Patty Ting, and Ralph Josh Bacon. And of course, ito, Christian, are in addition dun sa mga previously discovered dubious names natin. Nag-umpisa to kay Mary Grace Piatos, kay Yoyoy Villamin, nasundan ng Pia Piatos Lim, Renan Piatos, Xiaomi Ortega, at meron pa tayong Jong De Asim, Feman Ambay, at itong isa nakakatawa, Amoy Leo.
Amoy Leo. Okay.
Oo.
nung nakita ko po yung mga pangalan na yan sa media reports, inisip ko, bigyan ko kaya ng benefit of the doubt. Hindi kaya mga code names yan. And if so, is that even allowed when it comes to the payment coming from, in terms of making payments using confidential funds?
We have to understand, Christian, na mayroong Joint Circular 2015-01. This is intended to regulate the use of both confidential and intelligence fund, and it does include the guidelines for the accounting and the auditing.
Kong, medyo nawala po yung volume nyo. Nawala yata yung volume ni Congresswoman, no? Tama ba? Nadidinig niyo po ba siya? Kong, medyo na-mute po kayo. Kong. Kong. Naka-mute po kayo. Sorry. Teka lang, naka-mute. Dali lang Nasa kotse kasi si Congresswoman Wait. Teka lang, hintayin natin siya. Okay. Kong, wait po. Wait. Teka, hindi niya tayo nadidinig yata. Nawala po yung audio nyo. Naka-mute po kayo. Yan.
Where did I stop?
Medyo mahaba na Na-mute
okay,
kayo.
Should I start from the dubious names?
Hindi. Nadinig po namin yung dubious names. Ang magsimula po tayo dun sa tanong ko, yung hindi kaya mga code names. At kung code names yan, allowed ba yan? And then you were explaining the Memorandum Circular 2015-01.
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, the answer to your question, use of code name is not allowed. Because I was saying earlier, the Joint Circular 2015-01 is a response to the mandate of the Constitution that the COA promulgate rules on accounting and auditing with respect to the use of confidential and intelligence fund. This is made up of several pages, and if you will examine carefully this joint circular, nowhere will you see that it is allowed to use code name or aliases, even if the intention is to conceal the real identity of the recipients of confidential fund, I wish to emphasize also, Christian, may provision dito na yung acknowledgement receipt has to be kept inside a sealed envelope and has to be put inside the vault by the special disbursing officer. That is consistent with the confidential nature of the fund, no? Pero just to give the other party the benefit of the doubt, if they will be claiming later on na ito'y code names or aliases, para ano pa kaya, Christian, na ipinalagay sa sealed envelope, ipinalagay sa vault, kung ito naman pala yung mga code names. And if we will look back dun sa ating naging investigation ng good government, no? Wala naman silang naging representation at all that these dubious names represent code or aliases of the real recipients of the OVP Confidential Fund.
Okay. Ang next question po, bakit nakalusot sa COA yung mga ganyang pangalan po?
That is actually my question also to COA, no? And surprisingly, ang sagot sa atin ng resource person ng COA from ICFAO, Intelligence and Confidential Fund Audit Unit. Ang ginagamit daw nila, checklist lang. May financial plan ba? Check. May acknowledgement receipt ba? Check. May certification ba? Check. May accomplishment report ba? Check. Anything deeper than that, walang verification na nangyari. So, it is no surprise that we were able to discover these names, dubious names, which, upon checking with the PSA, do not appear in the database. I wish to add, Christian, no? Kasi nagpagawa tayo ng rundown sa OVP Confidential Fund sa PSA. Out of 1,992 recipients of OVP Confidential Fund, 1,332 ang walang birth certificate. Wala sa database ng PSA. In other words, Christian, it is only around 670 na may possible match doon sa database ng PSA. I will repeat, Christian. Out of 1,992 recipients of OVP Confidential Fund, 1,332 ang wala sa PSA database, which means wala silang birth certificate. I believe that given this fact, given this result of verification, it only shows na fictitious ang 1,332 names representing beneficiaries of OVP Confidential Fund.
Okay. Pag pinagsama-sama po yung confidential funds na natanggap nitong 1,332 dubious recipients, magkano po yung pinag-uusapan natin?
I believe it is more than 200 million pesos. It is actually alleged in our complaint, no? But I could not remember the exact amount, but I recall that it is more than 200 million pesos.
Okay. Ito po yung nasa Article 2 ng Articles of Impeachment.
Yes.
Tama po ba? Okay. Kumusta naman po yung...
Question.
Opo. Kumusta naman po yung mga lagda nitong mga dubious recipients na ito? Ano po yung mga nakita niyo? Mukha bang isa lang ang sumulat o dalawang tao?
May mga observation tayo na it appears na isa lang yung author ng penmanship ng mga signatures in the acknowledgement receipts. But of course, we are not expert on the matter. So we forwarded the documents to the NBI so they can examine and they can provide a result of the examination of the specimen signatures. Our objective is to determine kung isa lang ba, few lang ba ang pumirma dun sa napakaraming acknowledgement receipts ng confidential fund.
Na may binalik na po bang findings yung NBI when it comes to this handwritings?
I believe, Christian, wala pa. With respect to the examination of the specimen signatures.
Pero ipe-present nyo po yung resulta kung sakasakali sa impeachment trial.
Definitely, Christian, that will be part of our presentation of evidence. Kung if it will validate our suspicion and our observation. Kasi sa aming obserbasyon ay mukhang isang kamay lang or few hands lang ang naging author ng penmanship, but we will still have to validate the same through the examination of the specimen signatures by the expert, which I believe is the National Bureau of Investigation.
Okay. Kayo po bilang isang abogado, bilang isang kongresista, o bilang isang taxpayer, ano yung, honest question po, no? Ano yung naramdaman niyo na nakita niyo itong mga dubious names na ito? Sabi niyo, fixed issues. Tapos pag pinagsama sa amin natanggap nilang confidential fund, hindi bababa ng 200 million. Kasi ko ako, para ako na-insulto bilang isang ordinary observer, para ako na-insulto na ganito yung pagkakamada nitong pondo na ito. Kung totoo nga dubious lahat ito, no? Pero sa inyo po, ano yung tumatakbo sa isip niyo nung nakikita niyo itong mga ito? Ay, mute ulit. Na-mute kayo ulit. Nawala kayo ulit. Nawala kayo.
Alright.
Yan.
Ikaw
Meron na.
Sound. Can you repeat your question?
Hindi, nung nakikita nyo na itong mga findings na ito, bilang isang abogado, isang kongresista, isang taxpayer, ano yung naging damdamin nyo nung nakikita nyo itong mga ito?
Nakakapanghina, Christian. Nakakapanlambot kasi ang daming social problems, di ba? Ang daming nagugutom, talking about confidential fund of DepEd, ang daming walang classroom, tapos you will be discovering a lot of fictitious names na naka-receive ng confidential fund na sana kung nagamit lang ng tama, maraming Pilipino ang nakinabang, no? Let us always be reminded by the constitutional mandate that public office is a public trust and we should be accountable to the people at all times. At ito lang naman po ang ating objective when we conducted the investigation in the Good Government Committee, and I believe we have the same objective when we filed the impeachment complaint supported by 212 members of the House of Representatives. I am really I feel so frustrated na habang may mga tao sa gobyerno na nagpipilit na ma-deliver sa mga Filipino yung tamang response sa napakaraming social problems, we are discovering things like this na sana pinakinabangan ng tama ng ating mga kababayan.
Okay. Meron of course, nakasampang impeachment complaint against the Vice President, and one of the articles of impeachment, of course, itong alleged misuse ng confidential funds. Pero hindi ba pwede rin po itong gamitin bilang basehan para kasuhan siya ng plunder?
I understand, Christian, no? But I believe that hindi siya pwedeng isabay sa impeachment complaint. We have to conclude first the impeachment process before we consider the filing of any administrative case or criminal case like plunder.
Okay. Ibig sabihin, pwede siyang kasuhan pagkatapos sa impeachment trial. Hindi lang kailangan isabay.
Definitely, Christian, because ito naman pong impeachment complaint ay this is not a prejudice doon sa ipa-file pa na administrative complaint and criminal complaint should the House or any Filipino citizen desire to do so.
Okay. Ipapatawag niyo po ba itong mga quote-unquote dubious recipients ng confidential fund during the impeachment trial?
Well, we will have to discuss it with the team. But from my personal standpoint, I think we need to subpoena all of them to finally establish whether or not these people exist. Bagaman malaking puntos na po sa part ng mga prosecutors na wala sa database ng PSA itong mga personalities na ito. Because if indeed they are real persons, dapat kahit papano may birth certificate sila. But the thing is, kasama po sila sa 1,332 who do not appear in the records of birth of the Philippine Statistics Authority.
Okay. So far, yung binanggit yung mga dubious names kanina, kung hindi ako nagkakamali, siguro mga nasa 15 to 20, tama po ba?
I counted them, Christian. To be exact, they're 13.
13,
And
okay.
I understand that we continue the verification process. Seemingly mukhang madadagdagan pa to.
Ayun. Yun kasi susunod itatanong ko sa inyo. Ongoing pa rin po ba yung pagbusisi sa mga pangalan? Kasi ang ginagawa niya, di ba, parang by batch, na-identify niya
Yes.
yung mga, parang may pattern of names, no? Tama po ba?
Pattern of names for some, no? Pero ewan ko ba kung saan nila kinukuha tong mga pangalan na to, no? Like for example, si Yoyoy Villamin. Alam naman natin na ito yung comedian singer, di ba? Tapos itong mga piatos, dati Mary Grace lang. Ngayon nagkatatlo na. And then you have this Amoy Leo. Nakakatawa talaga. Tapos meron pang Jong De Asim. And then the recent discovery, itong grocery gang na mukhang sa grocery nakuha yung mga pangalan, no? I don't know what their intentions are when they came up with these names, but apparently we are maintaining the position that use of code or aliases in the utilization of confidential fund is not allowed by the Joint Circular 2015-01.
Okay. Since hindi pa naman po nagsisimula impeachment trial, ongoing pa po ba yung pagkalap ng ebidensya laban sa Vice President? Or more or less, from your perspective, you have enough to secure a conviction? Again, from your perspective.
From my perspective, Christian, with all due respect, no? Kung hindi sila maghahain ng evidence to counter the evidence of the prosecutors, I humbly submit na these are sufficient to call for a conviction in the impeachment process, no? Kaya lang, we wish to give them the benefit of the doubt because if you will recall, during the investigation by the Good Government Committee, walang active participation ang ating Vice Presidente. They did not even present any defense. And that is why we look forward also na they fully participate in the hearing of the impeachment complaint for the Filipino people to see kung ano ba talaga nangyari sa utilization ng confidential fund, not only of the OVP, but also of the Department of Education.
Pero sa ngayon, meron pa pong pumapasok na mga ebidensya to support the articles of impeachment.
Right now, Christian, naka-confine tayo doon sa voluminous records which we requested through subpoena duces tecum sa COA during the investigation of the Good Government Committee. No? Napakakapal nito, Christian, at we need to go over them one by one at ma-analyze din natin just like the revelation of all these dubious names, no? And we will see kung meron pa tayong pwedeng maidagdag na evidence dito. Pagaman itong mga ebidensyang ito, including the arguments, no? And even the preparation, ay hindi na natin kayang ma-share in detail sa public. Of course, to make sure that we do not compromise the strength of our evidence and argument during the impeachment hearing.
Okay. Kumusta naman po yung preparation ng House Prosecution Team given the fact na nagsimula na po yung campaign for local elections? I suppose, pati kayo, di ba, binubulabog po namin kayo ngayong gabi. Nasa sasakyan kayo, no? So, very busy yung prosecution team for the campaign. Paano kayo nakakapaghanda for the impeachment
This is actually very challenging for all of us because most of us are opposed, no? Parang ang hindi lang opposed amin is si Chairman Acop, who else? Si Chairman Keith Flores, and I don't know, hindi yata mabigat ang laban ni Kong Noy Defensor, no? But the rest of us have significant opposition, kaya very challenging talaga sa amin itong panahon na ito. Kasi parallel action kami. Parallel because nangangampanya. At the same time, we are preparing for the impeachment hearing, no? What we do, meron kaming mga meetings na designed towards the preparation for impeachment hearing, no? Halos weekly, nag-a-attend kami sa aming meeting to further our knowledge about the evidence and the argument that we will be using during the impeachment hearing, no? We have divided also ourselves, Christian, into the number of articles that we have. Bagaman we were assigned like 2 to 3 articles per prosecutor. Ako, I think I have 3 assignments, no? I could not remember the 2 other. Kasi ang focus ko nandito pa sa second impeachment complaint, no?
Confidential
second
funds.
article of impeachment, which is the misuse of confidential fund. But apparently, we are in full swing of our preparation.
Pero syempre, kung sakali mang merong malasin sa re-election bid, maiiba yung composition ng di ba, ng prosecution team.
I understand, Christian, but we are all positive that all of us will make it this coming election, no? All of us will make it this coming election kasi kasama sa aming ipinaglalaban ngayon ay hindi lang ang aming mga congressional bid, but our responsibility to be able to fulfill this duty as prosecutors in the impeachment process.
Apo. Kunin ko na rin po yung opinion nyo dito, no? Kasi nakikita ko marami sa mga kababayan po natin yung nagko-komento kung ang dahilan ng mga senador daw ay hindi sila makapag-quorum dahil meron silang kanilang pinagkakaabalahan at yung iba tumatakbo for re-election. Pero nakakapag-hearing naman sila during the recess. In particular, si Senator Amy Marcos, nakapag-hearing siya at meron pang susunod patungkol dun sa pagkaka-aresto kay dating Pangulong Rodrigo Duterte ng Interpol at nadala sa ICC. Ano pong tingin niya ron? Ayaw mag-impeachment trial during recess pero nakakapag-hearing naman po.
That's why we felt a little frustrated, no? Na in spite of our position that we conduct the impeachment hearing earlier, naging very firm ang ating Senate President about the timeline, which he shared to the public already, no? Lalo kaming na-frustrate nung nakita na namin na may mga hearings na nagaganap sa Senate. You're right. Kung nakakapag-hearing sila, how come that they could not proceed with convening the impeachment court so we can start with the impeachment hearing, no? This is the reason also, Christian, why we were prompted to file the motion for issuance of writ of summons, no? Kasi nakita ng sambayan ng Pilipino na kaya naman pala ng Senado mag-conduct ng hearing during this campaign period. Nagbaka sakali tayo na baka tayo pagbibigyan na mag-issue na ng summons so the Vice President can file her answer and perhaps we can proceed with the impeachment hearing. But apparently, I have not received any official information about the response of the Senate to our motion, no? In spite of our frustration, Christian, no? We are cognizant of the fact that there's only one impeachment court and that is the Senate. Kung hindi nila tayo pagbibigyan, I believe wala tayong choice but to submit to the timeline which the Senate President already shared to the public. And that is to convene on June 2, which is after the 2025 election.
Pero yun nga po, di ba, marami ring moving parts yan yung June 2. Paano kung hindi na pala siya maging Senate President by that time? That's one factor, di ba? Tapos, pagkatapos sa election, may iba yung composition ng mga senador. Ang daming pwede mangyari po, no? May tanong po ako dun sa no? Yung motion ninyo for the issuance of the writ of summons. Hindi naman dapat mahirap po ito? Although that would presuppose that they would have to convene as an impeachment court. Tama po ba yan? To be able to do this?
We are indeed maintaining the position that session is not necessary for them to be able to convene as an impeachment court, no? Ever since ito na po yung position natin na ang session kailangan lang for purposes of legislative function. And the same must be distinguished from an impeachment process. As a matter of fact, itong provisions on impeachment, you don't see that in the chapter for legislative department. Instead, you see this in the chapter for accountability, which means na iba dapat ang approach kapag dating sa impeachment process, no? And that is why we are maintaining this position na since this is impeachment process, since this is not legislative function, even when the Senate is on recess, they can effectively convene as an impeachment court and immediately proceed to the impeachment trial. Napag-usapan din natin yung impeachment trial, no? Naging napakahaba ng ating mga debate about forthwith, no? I just want to share na 3 ang modes for filing an impeachment complaint. One is by any member of the House. Second ay by any private citizen so long as the same is sponsored by any member of the House. Ang third is by 1/3 of the members of the House, no? At doon natin nakita yung provision na kapag ka ang complaint ay filed ng at least 1/3 of the members of the House, the impeachment complaint shall automatically be considered as the articles of impeachment. And the Senate shall immediately proceed to the impeachment trial. Which means, kapag ka ganun karami na ang sumusuportang members of the House, it calls for urgency already. Kaya ginamit na ng Constitution and even by the rules on impeachment, yung terminology na forthwith, no? If the intention really of the Constitution or even the Senate rules is to allow impeachment hearing only during session, they could have written that in the rules. They could have provided that in the Philippine Constitution. But as you can see, the Constitution is silent. The Senate rules is silent, which only means na ibang usapan to kapag ang impeachment complaint ay supported na ng at least 1/3 of the members of the House. It calls for urgency already, reason why both the Constitution and the Senate rules use the term forthwith, which means immediately, Christian.
Opo. If that is the case, as written in the Constitution, aren't the senators violating the Constitution by not convening as an impeachment court?
Well, I wish not to comment about your question, Christian, no? But in as far as we are concerned, kami bilang prosecutors, we are responding to our duties as provided in the Constitution. Ayaw namin na mag-violate kami ng Constitution. And that is why the moment we saw them conducting a hearing, we decided to file the motion for the issuance of writ of summons. That is in response to the mandate na the impeachment hearing shall forthwith proceed, no? But with respect to the Senate, if they have a different interpretation of the constitutional provision, we leave it up to them, no? But the people should understand, iba po ang prosecutors, iba ang impeachment court, and apparently, there's a significant disparity in terms of interpretation pagdating po sa impeachment process. While the Congress is maintaining the position that session is not necessary and we can immediately proceed with the impeachment hearing, kabaligtaran po ang interpretasyon ng Senado. Ang interpretasyon nila, dapat naka-session. Without the session, they could not convene. And that is why they opted na i-schedule ang convening ng impeachment court on June 2. So, at the end of the day, we respect the fact na sila ang impeachment court. We are the prosecutors, magkaiba po kami ng trabaho, but in as far as we are concerned, we are responding to the call, the mandate of the Constitution, Christian.
Okay, I understand yung pinanggagalingan niyo po, no, Congresswoman, no? So in this case, napaka-powerful talaga ng Senado as an impeachment court given the sui generis nature of the impeachment trial. Wala makakapagpilit ba sa kanila to proceed forthwith with the trial even if that is the mandate of the Constitution? Ganun po ba yan?
That is my submission, Christian. I understand na mayroong pending na petition for prohibition sa Supreme Court. Meron ding petition for mandamus sa Supreme Court, no? Pero without preempting the decision of the Supreme Court and with all due respect to them, tingin ko mananaig ang principle of separation of power, and that is in line also with the position which is being maintained by the Senate right now, no? Hindi natin kayang pakialaman itong position nilang ito because there's only one impeachment court, and that is the Senate of the Philippines.
Mahirap pilitan in short kung ayaw o ayaw pa. Okay, bilang huling punto, Congresswoman, medyo nako-conscious na ako sa inyo, ginagabi na kayo sa kalye. Okay.
Normal sa akin to. Cinderella girl ako, 12 pa ako uuwi.
Naka-pull over kayo, nakikita ko eh. Si dating Pangulong Rodrigo Duterte na sa ICC na, of course, nandun din yung Vice President, no? Hindi pa nga siya umuwi. And nakikita po natin yung mga narratives on social media, yung pinapalabas nila na dinukot yung dating Pangulo, dapat kaawaan, di ba? Nandun yung paawa narrative on social media. And given the political nature of an impeachment trial, how do you think these narratives could affect the trial of the Vice President? Yung pagpapalabas sa kinakaawaan dapat yung mga Duterte.
Sana maintindihan tayo ng ating mga kapwa Pilipino, no? Na we are all accountable to the Filipino people regardless of what is happening to the former president, aging, tapos nakulong pa, na-detain pa, and we understand na father siya ng ating vice presidente who will soon face the impeachment hearing, no? I hope the Filipino people will understand that all public officials are accountable to the people. Meron po siyang kailangang ipaliwanag. So, I hope that they will appreciate this opportunity for all of us to get the necessary enlightenment as to what really happened about the confidential fund of both the OVP and the DepEd, no? Ang tanong ng ibang taga-media ay maaapektuhan daw ba ang aming mga laban? Definitely ay magiging factor din ito to be considered, no? Yung position namin about the arrest of the former president, yung position namin about the impeachment. But we are positive and hopeful that the people will understand and appreciate na tumutugon lang po tayo sa mandato ng saligang batas. That is the Philippine Constitution, Christian.
Okay, Congresswoman Jinky Luistro, maraming salamat po for joining us again.
Para sa karagdagang impormasyon, ay huwag po nating kalimutang mag-subscribe sa channel na ito, at i-share lamang po ang video na iyong napanood. Maraming salamat po sa patuloy na pagtangkilik kay Senyor Rabaz.